What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. This is episode 5, so let's get into it. Picks up and all the girls are back at home and they're basically telling everybody about the time that they had. You got Demi talking to her mom, you have Whitney talking to her mom, then you have Taylor and Dakota walking through the park, then you have Jen and her husband at the house. We also see Michaela at the house just with her husband, just like we see, what's her name? Macy and her husband. And everyone's just talking about how much of a disaster a disaster it was being up being in the mountains doing the whole trip. And Whitney gets emotional while she's talking to her mom, where she was like, Demi came at me out of like nowhere, and it was just a lot. It was just so much happening. And then I realized everybody else isn't really like my friend like that, so I left the group chat. So we find out that Whitney left the group chat. A lot of the girls feels like it's very performative. She left to be dramatic so that somebody would reach out to her and ask her if she's okay. And it did the reverse, where a lot of the girls were like, I'm not chasing after her. Some of the girls ended up calling Macy and asking Macy like, what's up with her? So Macy decided like she was going to take matters into her own hands and contact Whitney. While we see, what's her name? Demi talking to her mom. Demi was talking about how she feels like Whitney pretty much orchestrated everything. I still feel like, Demi, you just got egg on your face when all the girls were coming at you. Like, you purposely played that game. You wanted the girls to give you something. Like, you wanted the girls to gang up on Whitney, and then it turned around and they started ganging up on you. And that's just what it is. So we end up seeing Macy call Whitney. And Whitney is making cake, like, I would say cake, making animal crackers with her daughter and her husband, and they got the other baby. And Macy's like, so how are you feeling? Like, you left the group chat, what's going on? And Whitney was like, I just need space. What we're coming to find out is, like, when the kitchen gets too hot, Whitney runs away. She does the narrative. She disengages, okay? She doesn't want to argue about it. She doesn't want to do anything, to have anything to do with it. And she feels some type of way because she's like, they could have called me and asked me if there was an issue. Why are they calling you and not me? We then see this scene of Jesse, Demi, and Layla go to this soda shop. So they basically show us what it is. It's more like a syrup shop, because they're getting soda and then adding all these types of syrup into it and drinking it, and they always get like a 42 ounce or something, and they are always drinking it early in the morning. I said, y'all's bodies have to be out of whack, because who is waking up at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning to drink soda? Y'all don't want no orange juice, no apple juice, I don't know, water, something. So while they sit down and have a conversation, we see, it's weird to me. And this is where I'm like, this is very high schoolish, because now they're talking about crowning Demi the leader of Mom Talk. And I'm like, why do y'all need a leader? Why do you need a face? Why can't y'all just be content creators and make stuff together? You know, that's just weird to me. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much, Demi gets crowned the group by Jesse. Jesse ends up saying that Whitney wants to be the leader so badly that it's cringy, and Taylor really doesn't care. And they're all talking about how dramatic they thought it was that she left the group chat. They were like, ugh, she's so dramatic. Like, it didn't need to be all of that. And Layla's having a like divorce party. So she's like, if she doesn't come to my divorce party because she has issues with you, i.e. Demi, then that's going to be a problem, because me and her are actually real friends. So like, I don't want her doing what she did to Taylor to me, because that's not how it's going down. And I feel like this is my thing, because I made a TikTok about this, and I just said this: everybody is ragging on Whitney right now, but Whitney is the spice of the show. Every single scene in this episode was about Whitney, except the scene at the end where we had Taylor and Dakota and their relationship drama. But everybody was talking in a roundabout way or throwing shots at Whitney. So people being so mad at her to the point where I think if she can't handle the backlash that everyone is giving her, she might quit the show. Season 2 is gonna suck because who's gonna bring the drama? Unless what sometimes happens is y'all get rid of the person that y'all really don't like on these reality shows, like the cast bands together and ices them out, and then they enter in somebody who's far worse than that person, and then all of a sudden all hell break loose. So I'm just like, if the women on this show were smart, they would find a way to work with Whitney so that they keep the balance, because at the end of the day, it's a reality show. You have to have somebody that's the underdog, the funny one, the cute one, the fashionable girl, the villain, the one that's gonna fight the villain. And right now it looks like Whitney and Demi are formidable opponents, but also the issue is Whitney keeps running away or leaving situations, and it's like, girl, if you gonna do reality TV, you have to you got to stand in it, you know what I'm saying? So they leave from that scene. We then get this scene of Taylor, Dakota, Jen, and Zach and their kids. They're basically trying to give Dakota a crash course in taking care of a newborn. They're teaching him how to make a bottle while holding a baby, also like changing a diaper. And we have this situation where you kind of see like they're trying to push marriage on Taylor, but Taylor is just like, I don't want to get married and I don't want to be pressured by anybody. I don't want to be pressured by anybody, not by the church, not by my friends. I want to get married when I'm ready to get married to Dakota, because she really does want to marry Dakota. We then leave that scene, and what happened, y'all? Get this scene of Layla, Jen, and Demi going to a tattoo parlor. Girl, there was no point in Layla getting that tattoo. It was so tiny, but she said the two dots were a representation of her and her ex-husband, Clay. And we find out that she does not have the closest relationship with her family. Like, her sister is about to get married, and I think Layla was trying to dress it up. But if you are not that, like, your sister's getting married and it doesn't even seem like you're a part of the wedding. Like, it seems like there's a lot of tension there. And Layla's like, she really didn't have like the best relationship or the most stability with her family. And I'm wondering if her converting to like Mormonism, because she never says like her family are Mormons. Maybe they were like, girl, we're not down with that, and that caused a rift in her family. But I think it says a lot that your sister is getting married and you're not a part of like the planning of the wedding, or you're not like, she's not sending you outfits being like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And so then she was like, well, I'm getting this and I'm hoping that my sister sees it and knows that like it's for her. Or maybe they didn't like her husband, because we find out that she got pregnant before she got married. And she was like, a lot of people were saying things. So we were like, well, we might as well just get married to do that one step right. But I'm just like, you're not going to force me to get married or force me to do something I don't want to do. It just don't work like that. Leah don't do that, okay? I don't do that. So what ends up happening, we see her get the tattoo. We also find out that Demi is also divorced, and Jen is like, she loves Layla, so she's here to support her. But Demi also explains that like it takes a lot to leave a marriage in this community, because oftentimes in their faith they are taught to like stick it out for the marriage. So I am happy that Layla said, no, I'm gonna choose myself and I'm not going to be tied down to you. Same with Demi. She seems to be happy with Brett. So, Layla says, she has to find herself. I said, yeah, you had 2 kids and you're only 22 and you got married. Girl, be single. Be single till you're 30. Then do what you got to do. So we end up seeing the girls go to like this rage room. Now, mind you, I thought they was going to be swinging bats and hammering stuff, but they all decided just to do this like paint room where you just throw paint around. And they get there. We find out that Taylor and Whitney are now not there. We have this scene of Whitney with her family and she's cooking and she's talking to her husband about how she didn't get invited and how she didn't get invited and how like she saw them post a picture and she feels like they did that on purpose. And she was like, she hates the fact that she thinks about what other people think of her. So it really bothers her that like nobody has checked up on her, because she's always checking up on everybody. And I know, like I keep saying, like Whitney is public enemy number 1, but it's interesting to me that in this moment and in the conversation she had with Jess, and Jess confirms that Whitney is always checking up on everybody, but no one's checking up on her. So I'm like, if she is that bad of a person, then why has she been the only one to like really make sure the group is okay? But I do think leaving the group chat was dramatic, and she was trying to see if people were going to reach out to her, and that wasn't the case. So she's kind of frustrated and upset. The girls are painting, having a good time. They're all recognizing with the fact that Whitney's not there that the energy is different. It's lighter. It's fun. They call her a bitch. They like write it on the wall and everything. And they were like, this is for Whitney. So the girl's not seeing it for Whitney. So it's now time for the divorce party. And Taylor and Dakota aren't there because I think she's having, you know, I think she said it's almost 4 months, not 4 months, 4 weeks until it's time for her to give birth. She also says all that stress with the arguing back and forth with the ladies was a bit much for her, so she's just gonna sit this one out. And so everyone shows up to the party. Everyone's wearing black because it's supposed to be like death to divorce, or death to her last name. And so Whitney and her husband walk in, and I gotta give it to Whitney. The girls were shook when she walked in, like they were actually surprised that she came. But it was interesting to me that like they were bothered by her coming, but y'all keep talking about how y'all want her to stand and confront y'all when she like stay when she's being confronted. So I'm gonna give her credit. She sashayed in there with her husband, like, what's up? And I said, hey, okay, I see you, Whitney. We then have this cringy scene of her husband trying to open up a bottle, and they're like, they were like, I think there's openers. You don't have to do that. But he kept hitting it and hitting it. And I said, and then he chipped the table. I was like, you doing too much, sir. And you could tell that Whitney was like over it. And I was like, you should have told your husband, chill out. Chill out, girl. We then see Demi kind of walk over because she doesn't want it to be awkward, but it's going to be awkward. We see Macy talk to Whitney, and Macy is just kind of like, so how you feeling? What's good with you? And Whitney is like, I want to talk to Jesse because I want to understand why she thought it was okay to tell me that I use people and I discard them. Like, I don't do that. I forgot to mention in the last review that with the whole RVS thing, that whole TikTok debacle that Whitney had, that Demi let it be known that her and Whitney did ketamine together. I said ketamine. And she said that Whitney admitted that she did the whole thing for like clicks and views, and she recorded the conversation. That's some snake shit. That's why I said Demi and Whitney to me are the same person. It's just that Demi is more likable. Why are you recording conversations? Like, I wouldn't trust Demi if I was any of them other girls. But pretty much, Whitney is like, she wants to talk to Jesse. So we actually see Whitney and Jesse sit down to talk. And this is where I feel like everyone's trying to paint Whitney to be the villain. And to me, she is. She's delusional. She's chaotic. She's a lot. She is. But I'm starting, like, when you pay attention to how they're talking about her, I'm like, y'all say Whitney is this bad friend, but Jess was like, yeah, you check up on everybody. And then Jess was like, well, you have issues with everybody in the group. And Whitney is like, the only two people I have problems with is Taylor and Demi. Who else do I have issues with? And now Jess admits that everyone has been talking bad about Whitney except Macy. So is Whitney really the problem if all of y'all are talking trash about one another? Like, that's why I'm like, the response to Whitney is funny to me because everyone's acting like Whitney is such this horrible person. And granted, I'm only on episode 5. I got 3 more episodes to go. I still feel like, why are we not acting like all of them are fake and phony to one another? Whitney is just the one that's unlikable, so her phoniness and fakeness sticks out more. But the fact that Jesse was like, yeah, everyone's been talking about you except Macy, she's really loyal to you. But y'all are mad that Whitney repeats what y'all be saying about each other. I see y'all. So Whitney is getting upset because she was like, I didn't know everyone was talking about me. I didn't know I had all these issues with everybody. And then you see Britt and Demi looking, and Demi's like, oh my gosh, she crying. And so Whitney is like, I'm trying to understand, like, did Jesse tell me this stuff to blatantly hurt me? Because now I'm feeling like, okay, these women really don't want to be friends with me. So why should I want to be friends with them? And then we see Layla walk out. She has a veil on. She looks good. Jordan, who is Jesse's husband, brings some boy to talk to Layla. I thought he was in high school. I'm not gonna lie. But then again, like, he might probably be like 21, 22, and Layla's 22. So, hey, it works out for them. So, as Demi is giving this speech, Whitney is just like, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's the issue with Whitney. She keeps running away. Girls, you got to stand in it sometimes and just deal with it. So she kind of just is like, after they do the speech, she is like, you know what? Me and my husband about to leave. She put on her jacket and she She dip out. Macy is like, I wonder what was said by Jesse to make her leave, but it's not good. Macy with her product, she sells like prenatal vitamins, and it's called Baby Mama. I said you could have definitely came up with a better name than that, but okay. And she's taking pictures, and she invited Taylor to come to take those pictures because she is pregnant in the group, and she likes the whole cross promotion and advertisement. Next thing you know, we see Dakota pull up. And Macy is like, why is he here? Like, why did you bring him here? And she was like, she feels like Dakota follows Taylor around like a puppy. So why you bring him here? So Taylor ends up telling Macy, I brought him because I want you guys to talk. And I like that Macy was like, girl, this is not the time nor the place. This is my business, and I don't got time to argue with this man. And so they take the pictures. Next thing you know, Dakota's like, oh, can I get in? And takes off his shirt, and basically he's taking like, maternity pictures with with Taylor, pretty much leeching off of Macy's like money, like her time, the professional photographer and everything. So she's irritated. She tells Taylor, hey, we can talk because I like tomorrow because I got stuff to drop off at your house. So we actually see them have this sit down talk that Taylor wanted Macy and Dakota to have. And Macy basically tells Dakota, I don't think you're like my abuser. So we know Macy has been in a very toxic situation, but she was like, there's some tendencies about you that remind me of him. Like, all I know is what she's told me and what I've seen. And like, I'm seeing text messages of you speaking negatively ill about her. I'm seeing you always be around her. And it's like, it's not a good look. And I haven't seen you improve in any way. And I want her to be happy. Like, I want her to be happy. And I want this to work for y'all, but there's some things that has to change. Out of nowhere, well, I really want to say out of nowhere, Taylor ends up getting emotional where she starts crying about her relationship with Dakota, where she's just like, I want to get married, but we have issues. Because I think Macy brings up about marriage and like being in a healthy relationship. And they start arguing back and forth about this tea that was spilled on episode 1, where Taylor pretty much lets it known in the beginning of their relationship, they have trust issues. The whole swinging thing with Taylor, with the thing with Dakota is like, when she got with Dakota, she took a picture with him. People started messaging her in her DMs talking about, girl, he slept with my friend, he slept with this, he slept with that. And what we find out is that while they were dating, Dakota ended up sleeping with this girl named Jen. Well, he says he didn't sleep with her. I think he did, but pretty much Taylor was like, I told him to be honest with me, like brutally honest with me. And he said he didn't sleep with her, but she was like, if I find out he did, like, we're not going to be together anymore. But Dakota ends up telling Taylor, like, he wants to be with her. I'm trying to work this out, but you keep bringing up what happened like we were together. We weren't together. And so then Taylor says, you know what's effed up is that the first time we had sex, you had sex with another girl before me, like effed me all week long, and then left me and had sex with another person. I said, oh, girl. And you got Macy just sitting there just uncomfortable and confused. And Taylor just admits she has trust issues with Dakota, but she wants to be with Dakota. And Dakota's like, I want to be with you. I want to work through this, but you got to forgive me at this point if you want to be together, So there's that for them.